for today's celebration. Chris Wright is the 17th Secretary to lead the U.S. Department of Energy. As Energy Secretary, Chris is focused on unleashing energy dominance and accelerating transformative innovations, strengthening U.S. leadership in science and technology. So please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Secretary Chris Wright.
Wow, inspired to be here today. Inspired and lucky to be here today. I loved Rick's words. He's inspired me all day talking about computing, and then he goes to Oscar Wilde. And of course, just a great quote and so perfect for where we are today. I thought of Oscar Wilde recently too, because my newest member of the DOE team, his name is Dorian. And I'm not good at remembering names, but I associate him with Oscar Wilde's great book, The Picture of Dorian Gray. So, Dorian. Look, to be here to christen Aurora is just fantastic. And I'll come back to that in a little bit. I'm so proud that the Department of Energy has 3 exascale computers. He talked about the competition with Oak Ridge and Frontier and El Capitan at Livermore. And this just incredible gathering of intellectual curiosity and drive and computation horsepower make our national labs just truly a national treasure. So my biggest message today is a giant thanks. And a thanks to everyone in this room, but to everyone that's in the Argonne family that's not in this room, but that every day is working hard to drive progress forward. That thanks is not just from me. That thanks, as of yesterday, is directly from President Trump. I was with him at an event in Pittsburgh. He rallied a bunch of people to come there and gave some impassioned words because he wants to see AI plow forward as fast as possible, doing everything possible to make the business conditions, the investment conditions, the intellectual atmosphere that people just lean in. When in doubt, let's do it. He announced yesterday $90 billion of investments just in the state of Pennsylvania to build the power infrastructure and the data centers needed to drive AI forward. Of course, it'll be in all states, but Pennsylvania is leaning in aggressively. The president is all in on the advancement of AI and sends his regards and patriotic thanks to everyone here at Argonne Lab for what you do. Thank you. Thank you. I want to go back, not from yesterday, but to the very early days. Argonne Lab, in my mind, it came out of the Manhattan Project. And frankly, it ultimately was launched off the work of one of the greatest physicists in the 20th century, truly, truly unbelievable scientist, Enrico Fermi. First pile, the first critical reactor of uranium to prove, yes, you can have a chain reaction, you can control it. We ultimately turned that to uncontrolled use during World War II, and I'll come back to that. But Argonne was founded for controlled use of Fermi's discovery in nuclear power, peaceful and in medicine, and in so many other critical phenomenon. I think that message at Argonne to take forward nuclear energy, and of course with Argonne West turning into Idaho National Lab, it's a family that's trying to drive nuclear energy forward. I'm very passionate about that. Nuclear was 6% of global energy in the year 2000. It's 4% today. How did we go backwards in the last 25 years? That's politics, that's fear, that's the things that always stop progress in society. But we need to push back and win that tug of war and really launch a nuclear renaissance. I believe we will in the next few years. I believe we will do that. In Fermi's time, of course, he left Italy in a time of political upheaval in Italy. Fortunately, he came to the United States before things really got ugly. But then he was here when the Manhattan Project was launched. I view it also as the start of big science, the start of what the national labs are today. In 28 months, think about that, 28 months, great scientists and engineers all gathered to design a critical device, an atomic bomb. You know, that atomic bomb and the speed at which it was developed helped end World War II earlier than it otherwise would have ended. No one knows, is that tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of lives that were saved by bringing a quicker end to that war? Of course, we think of it as this horrible, powerful force, and it was a horrible, powerful force. But the net impact of that horrible, powerful force was to make a world massively more peaceful, massively more peaceful. The risk of violent death in the 80 years since the first explosion of an atomic bomb is the lowest it's been in human history. Yes, we still have wars and conflicts around the world, but they're not among the biggest and most powerful countries and nations anymore, as they regularly were throughout all of time. It ushered in a better world. And the fact that the United States led in the Manhattan Project and beat Nazi Germany to develop atomic bomb also transformed the world. We can't imagine a world today in which the United States was second. We didn't get there in time. We didn't develop an atomic bomb. I don't know what the world would be. It would be different. I think AI has some parallels to that. And I should point out as well, back to that, the Trinity test, the first nuclear explosion, was 80 years ago today. Today is the 80th anniversary in Alamogordo, New Mexico, of that Trinity test. Los Alamos National Labs, Fermi Labs, Oak Ridge National Labs, they were a continuation of this grand group scientific achievement and have just led to tremendous advancements. Let me zoom in on where we are today and why Aurora and why Argonne. And it's artificial intelligence. It's going to impact everything. So I don't think of it as one field or one science. It's a tool that empowers us to do everything we wanted to do better, stronger, faster, smarter, safer. But artificial intelligence was talked about when I was in college. Going to change the world. Computers are going to be humans. And well, computers were tools and they did math faster. But we didn't see artificial intelligence really until recently. But we've hit that critical moment now where computation power is so strong that it really can do human-like tasks. And the next 3 or 4 years, I think, will be the greatest years of scientific achievement in my lifetime. I always regretted I wasn't around in 1905. I mean, Einstein's achievements in just 1 year, just unbelievable. You think from the late 1800s to 1930, the revolution and our understanding of the world were awesome, but I wasn't around then. My mom wasn't around then either. But we're all around today. We're all around today. And the work you do and your colleagues in the next few years, they're going to change the world. They're going to change the futures of your lives, of your children, and of your grandchildren. But there's a national security implication of AI that also means we can't get second. We can't be doing well but not great in artificial intelligence. I love to celebrate the economic, the lifestyle, maybe most of all the scientific advancements we're going to get with using artificial intelligence, but it's going to have massive national defense implications as well. It's critical that the United States maintains a lead there for our national security and for the national security of the world. The United States has never been an expansionist power. We want peace. We want prosperity at home and peace abroad. Again, aligned with President Trump's agenda. We need to lead in artificial intelligence. What does that mean? It means we need the passion of Rick and the team here in the labs driving forward what we can do with artificial intelligence and how to develop it, how to shape it, how to mold it, how to drive it forward. We also need energy. You know, it's one of the things you see about these systems. Computer guys didn't care about energy that much in the early days. Today, maybe the biggest constraint in where AI goes faster and slower is the development of energy. Nations or states that have had restrictive and unproductive energy policies, if you've made your energy expensive and less reliable, as again, too many awesome intellectual and historical powerhouses in Europe have done, we don't want to do that in the United States. The last 4 years, we really went into an energy is bad. Hopefully it's going to peak. We don't like most of the energy sources. We hope we'll get more out of these energy sources. That's just not a productive way to improve human lives. And it's certainly a guaranteed way to not lead in AI. I'm very thankful for President Trump He's an East Coast real estate developer, not an energy nerd like me or a scientist like others in this room, but he instinctually gets that energy matters. If you get energy wrong, nothing else matters. If you get energy right, the world is your oyster. Freedom and opportunity are opened. We want to lead in artificial intelligence. I'll swing back to one thing we want to see from that. What can we get out of AI on the scientific front? I saw a good bit of that today. The mapping of proteins and understanding microchemistry in our bodies. One of the things I'm extremely excited about is I believe not too far in the future, and Rick and I talked about a specific project on that, not too far into the future, if we're wise and lean in, cancer will become just a manageable condition. What is it? What do you have? Let's analyze your genes. We're going to find out the solution, and we're either going to kill it or you're going to maintain it. It's not going to be the death sentence that it is for just tens of millions of people every year on our planet. That is transformative to use AI for that tool. In fact, I think back, if 80 years ago we had those tools yet, Enrico Fermi wouldn't have died at 53 years. What we've gotten with another 30 years of Fermi, like, hard to imagine, but it would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. I want to thank everyone here. And the last thing I want to say is a lot of people fear AI, and I get it. New tools are scary, and the most natural reaction to new technologies is going to take my job away. It's going to take my job away and make my world worse. It's entirely natural reaction, understandable reaction. 200 years ago, 80% of Americans worked on the land in food production. Today, 1.7% of Americans work on the land in food production. We produce massively more food, but we have less jobs for farmers. That was disruptive. But of course, there's an unlimited use for what human skills and human talents can do. It's really just an increase in productivity. We lived to 73 years as global life expectancy today, and 200 years ago, it was 30. So there's more benefits from disruption than there's negatives to it. And we need to remember that. And AI, I think, will be uniquely powerful, and that's going to lift everyone up. It's going to make everyone's skills more valuable. It's going to bring better opportunities, a life, longer and healthier lives, and it's going to make you have a broader range of dreams that you can achieve. AI is different too. It may compute faster than us. It may do science faster than us, but AI doesn't have a conscience. AI doesn't feel love. AI doesn't have compassion. AI doesn't have inspiration, doesn't understand beauty and what moves our soul. Artificial intelligence isn't humans. It's a tool to make humans more powerful and grow their dreams and grow their achievements. God bless everyone here at Argonne National Laboratory. I wish all of the great scientists and leaders here to take this phenomenal Aurora tool and simply make the world a better place. I'm going to be cheering for you every day along the way. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Secretary Wright. It's wonderful, really, to have you here. Thank you for being so generous with your time in terms of seeing the laboratory, having conversation with researchers that are leaders and participating in the dedication. Tomorrow, Secretary Wright's going to join us at what we call the AI and nuclear energy smash up, where we're pulling the two communities together to really think about how we can really use nuclear power to really enable artificial intelligence, but also how we can use artificial intelligence to really accelerate the deployment of advanced reactor technologies. They're headed off to position themselves for the ribbon cutting. And so let me just go ahead and wrap things up here, and we're going to show a little bit of a video, and then we're going to have a nice reception. So, but really, let me say thank you for being a part of this milestone moment for Argonne, the Department of Energy, and the future of scientific discovery. I do appreciate really all of our speakers, partners, and guests who joined us today, including Secretary Wright and the Dewey delegates that he's brought with him, leaders from the Office of Science, our partners from the University of Chicago, Intel, and HPE, and our Argonne colleagues. Aurora is more than a technological achievement, it's a strategic asset. By harnessing the power of exascale computing and AI, our new system gives researchers across the country a critical tool for tackling big questions in energy, medicine, and materials. It reflects our commitment to building dynamic ecosystems that bring together technology, talent, and purpose to advance discovery and benefit society. Got the video?
We don't ever really answer a science question and ask a simpler one afterwards, right? Science gets more complicated and we ask more complicated questions and we want more advanced things, right? We want better medicine, we want better batteries for our phones, we want improvement, right? So in order to do that, you actually need a system today that's not only as capable as Aurora is in terms of computation, but as capable with AI as Aurora is.
One of the things that you have to understand about a large specialized supercomputer such as Aurora, you can't go pick it up at Best Buy. It takes engineers, scientists, system administrators, management. We had hundreds of people working on this project to make the system of this scale, this complexity work well and smoothly so the users can just use it. Being able to stand up a machine like this is a real pleasure.
Aurora will be able to combine high speed, high performance AI, simulation, and in some cases incorporation into complex workflows that are really what the future of computational science looks like.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about now that Aurora's entered production is the ability to get any and all users on the system. That allows for an endless amount of possibilities.
Having access to this AI hardware is really important for the research community so they can experiment and play and learn it. We want individual researchers to be able to progress as fast as they can think, not as fast as their computations are.
We're trying to use AI in our research to really advance our cancer models and allow us to understand, the trajectory of cancer cells, the effect of different properties of the cancer cell, like its size, its deformability, to build patient-specific models to essentially create a digital twin of the human that physicians can use to find disease and diagnose disease better, track the patient over time when they're not in the physician's office, and inform the treatment of disease. So it's allowing us to interact with this data in a way we never could have before. And just in general, it's a lot of fun to play with the world's biggest supercomputers and see what you can do with that. So we get to do a lot of exciting things through this research.
The cosmos was the first thing that humans ever really studied systematically. We see obviously the sun and we see the stars and they move, and the fact that they move in regular patterns is how people actually started thinking about science. The fact that we have computers large enough now that we can actually put in the equations that describe how the universe should evolve and compute them is really quite remarkable. One of the very exciting aspects of exascale machines, and Aurora in particular, when something's become very complex, often you don't really have a good idea of how to analyze the data without using artificial intelligence and machine learning methods. And because Aurora has 60,000 GPUs, we can actually apply these extremely powerful techniques. The fact that it's a compute engine, the fact that you can do data-intensive science on it, and the fact that it's an AI/ML machine make Aurora extremely useful for us.
Fusion research is to create almost perfect energy source. It's safe, and also the energy source can last almost forever. And it's a very ideal energy source for mankind. AI, machine learning, is expected to play an important role in our simulation. Number one, there are places in our kernels, in the computational kernels, where we think those kernels can be replaced by trained AI models, machine learning models in there. And those are expected to be much faster, much simpler. If we can cut the simulation time by half on Aurora, think about the savings you're going to have.
I try to simulate materials on a computer, so I'm able to build materials atom per atom or electron per electron. But instead of doing it on a bench or experimentally, we do it at the simulation level. We can really analyze all their properties. We can change things. We are building something, or at least we understand how things work. The power of doing it on a computer gives us the whole freedom of taking risks, and one of our biggest challenges was, do we do something that is very accurate but perfect, which is not the nature of life, or do we do something that is closer to life but not so accurate? Aurora really is that bridge that connects this high accuracy requirement and real life type of simulations. This new system allows us to dream a little further. It is going to allow us to study so more complicated things. All the things that we were always told, this is too large, it cannot fit in the system, we cannot study it because it's impossible. Now we can.